Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kinder, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. If you want to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 26 of The World Which Is. The repair Duchess did is obvious. A section about the size of my hand around where the gash was is new leather, stitched in a matching style to the rest, and she oiled it too. Leather chest, quality good. Type, armor. Okay. Um, okay, why did I... Okay, I'm probably going to have to go back and check. I think because I know I copy pasted the original, the previous one I wrote and altered for the armor type, but this tells me there was a mistake. Leather chest, quality good, type armor. A well-made piece of leather armor. Perception check failed. The quality is the same as before, I comment. That's what you get for having an expert doing the work, she replies, sounding amused. Thank you. I'll unequip my jacket and equip it. She snaps her finger in disappointment. And here I was thinking I'd get to see young Flush. Not wearing this without a shirt underneath is going to get sweaty, and that makes it hard to maintain the leather. I thought you'd have people taking care of your armor back in court, Herbert. I thought you had. I thought you had people taking care of your armor back in court, Herbert says. Grandmother's big on making sure we know how hard everyone's job is. So we'll respect so we'll respect them and the work they do. And I know how to maintain my armor and what not to do. So that and not I know how to maintain my armor and not what to do, so that's not ugh. And what to do. So that's not going to be impossible. Good to know some people are told that it's not magic that fixes things all the time, she adds. Thank you again. I pay her, and she holds my hand a little too long, but lets it go with a smile. You know where to find me if you need anything repaired. She climbs into the back of her wagon, and we head to our fire, where the others are packing up and hanging the rolled tents and beddings on the side of a cart. Daz, you're with Dennis this morning. Yes! Herbert, I trail off. Sorry, but you get a turn with everyone. He closes his eyes. That's not what I mean, Daz. I didn't say anything, the man replies, grinning. That smile says enough, Ellen says. Herbert walks to Daz and leans in, lowering his voice, but not enough. Don't scare him off. You do, and you get to explain it to Chuck. I'm not running off. I don't care what Daz tries. I'm not going to just quit because of it. I give Daz as much space as I can as we walk along the wagons. I'm not off the road proper, but this part is wet and mushy. 5 more paces and I'd be among the trees lining the road. I think that would qualify as me running off. How about I make you a deal? Daz says and chuckles at the suspicious look I give him. I promise to stop hitting on you if you answer my questions. I snort. I'm not giving a blanket yes to that. Fair enough. Answer my first one and I'll call the deal met. You can decide if you want to answer the rest afterward. And if I don't, I'm fair game. He chuckles. I'll do my best to resist you. It's not like I can do anything to force him to stop. Fine. What's the question? What happened to you? I roll my eyes. That's way too broad to count. What I mean is, I know I come on strong, but you're acting like instead of taking you to bed, I'm going to disembowel you. That's not something that happens without reason. We walk by two cart before I work up the guts to answer him. It's not like any of that's going to make it back to court and my dad. There was this guy. I start and pause. Like, guy is enough to describe Rich. The stories make him bigger than life, and seeing him in person, seeing him rescue me, made them feel truer instead of not. He must be someone to leave you speechless like just after just that. I shake my head to clear it. He's a lot. His name's Rich. I study his face, but he shrugs. He's something of a legend among my friends, and I got to meet him. He looked at me like you do, or maybe I imagined it, hoped he did, and implied we were going to do stuff together if I went with him. He came on strong. No, he came on sneakily. It was all looks and implication, and I wanted to, so I went with him. We went out of town to the forest, and he screwed with me. He said it wasn't good fun, scaring me like that, and I believed him. Then we reached this ruin and a hole. He shoved me down there and left me to die. We reached the end of the carts, and Daz nods to those guarding the next set instead of walking among the next set. Instead of walking along them, they seem to be positioned every third. You know I'm not him, right? He says once we turn around. That's kind of obvious. What I mean is that if you agreed to my advances, I would take you to bed, not trick you into trying to kill you. That's what you say. I shrug. I'm sorry that was your first almost experience. I'm glad you got out of it in spite of what he wanted. I got lucky. Still amazed that's not a stat. Luck. I know people who seem to get it to fall on their side and others who can't seem to ever fail. Maybe it's a secret attribute. There's a lot the system doesn't show that you only get if you give it the right query. And you think asking, what's my luck attribute, isn't enough? Did it answer? Nope. We walk in silence for another cart. What do you do? I ask, almost asking for his class. I guard the caravan. But why? You said you're a sneak. Don't those go around planting knives in people's back? You're thinking assassins, who can be sneaks, but not always. He is quiet, and I figure that's all I'm going to get. I was a different kind of unsavory character. What happened? Surprised you weren't asking what kind I was. Herbert made it clear your class isn't any of my business, and I figured that falls close to that. My class is thief, he grins. Thief of hearts. He sobers. Pockets, buildings, doors, and windows. If there was a lock keeping me out, I had to get in. Stole stuff. Stole money, stuff, and secrets. Those are what led me to being here. You're running away from bad people? No. As far as they're concerned, I'm dead. Came pretty close to making it a reality, too. Health bar was flashing and dropping steadily. Legs were broken. They'd taken everything in my inventory other than my undergarment. Someone saved you. He nods. Sasha saved me. Healed me enough on the spot I wouldn't outright die, and brought me to where she was staying and nursed me back to health. When I was good, she just said I could leave. Never asked her I repay her, but felt kind of wrong to do that. Got in a few scrapes because of my sticky fingers. My sticky fingers. After that, and she kept patching me up. Finally figured the best thing I could do was get away from the temptation the city represented, and joined a caravan. She stuck with me for some reason I've yet to understand. And after a few of them, we ended up here, met Herbert, and joined his team. And the hitting on guys? He laughs. I love guys, Dennis. I love every part of them. I can't help it. I see one and he smiled. I promise I wouldn't hit on you anymore, so I'm going to leave it at that. Doesn't that get you in trouble? I mean, did you hit on Chuck? I have no idea. I have no idea what the smiley gives me means. I think my sex life is probably not something we should talk about, considering where you stand on it. I open my mouth to press, then to say I'm okay with it, only to have those green eyes flash in my memory, that smile, with its promises of pleasure, the pain of landing at the bottom of the pit. What is it like growing up in a small town? He asks, and the rest of our patrol is spent comparing small town versus city living. Dennis, Max calls as Max calls as the carts ease off the road onto another pull-off. You're getting in some more fighting training. He points to the edge of the trees, and I focus on the things I see moving in the shadows. Green Goblin, level 3. Green goblins are a subclass that has adapted to forest living, enjoying climbing trees, making items from leaves, and killing errant passerby. Perception check successful. Green goblins travel in small bands of 3 to 7 individuals and enjoy coating their weapons with rotting meat, rendering them mildly poisonous. We need to take them on so they'll scatter and won't threaten the wagon. I ask. I can't make out how many, but since I know it can be as much as 7, a half plus train, I figure those shadows are in the higher range. Now, you're taking them on. I quit my bow. Okay, but you should get ready to help. There might be as much as 7 of them. You'll be fine. What? I stare at him as he starts to turn. I'm not skilled enough to take them on by myself. You saw what happened with the spider. I look at Herbert. You'll be fine. They're just level 3 and you have a bow. You'll take them down before they get close. But if they do, you're going to come to help. Yeah. If they do, you're going to come to my help. He shakes his head. It's only combat if you're in actual danger. I find myself looking at Daz, and his expression is somber. Not a joke or an offer for him to help me if the price is right. They're serious about me taking those on alone. Can I at least get more arrows? My quiver only has 12. He has a point, Daz says. Max comes to me holding a quiver. Unequip yours. You can use mine for this fight. Quiver of unending arrows. Quality excellent. Type container enchanted. A quiver that supplies an archer with as many arrows as they need. Perception check failed. I'm taking it back after your fight, he warns. Where can I get one? I equip it to my belt. I doubt anyone sells something like this, or that it would be affordable. I found mine at a dungeon. You went in a dungeon? How was it? He motions to the tree line. You have a job to do and people depending on you to succeed. Take the time to aim. I take an arrow and I'm surprised to see the shadow of another remain behind, becoming solid when the one I pulled is fully out. I put that out of my mind as I nock the arrow and find my target. Unlike the ones in my quiver, these have large metal heads. It's standing next to a tree, maybe a meter in height, on the slim side. I aim for his chest and take slow breath. With the fourth one, I let go. It hits and the goblin drops into the shadows. Sound comes and I force myself to ignore it. Ignore that it can't only be 7 of them to sound that loud. Fortunately, another form moves at the edge to the edge of the light and I aim. Its skin is more gray than green, with maybe brown mixed in. Bald with a nose that's much too large. It could be a snout. That's okay. A nose that's so large it could be a snout. It's a little stockier than the other one. For breath, and I let go. Another hit in the chest, and it drops back. This time, the legs remain visible, and they twitch as I knock another arrow and wait. They go still as another one steps over them and look in my direction. I aim and let the arrow loose on the third breath because it lurches forward. I miss and see two more behind it, running too. I'm done aiming. Time to go with quick knocking. I fumble the first 2, but get the third in and shoot. I hit the first one in the shoulder and it staggers, letting the other 2 overtake it. I hurry to take an arrow, fumble it, and curse. Speed isn't going to help. I take the arrow and knock it and let go. I miss. I also miss the next 4, and as I reach for another arrow, it's clear I can't shoot anymore. I send the bow to my inventory and equip my sword. The one on the left has what might have been a jaw with teeth still attached. The other a short spear made of a bone with the end broken into sharp-looking shards. I parry the spear, my swing misses, and block the jaw with my arm, cursing that I don't have a shield as the teeth leave marks on the leather. I kick spear holder away, swing, miss, jaw holder, and then there's a short, thick sword in its head. Daz smiles at me as Herbert dispatches the other ones. The other one. I thought I was supposed to deal with them on my own. I say, offended they felt the need to come to my rescue. And you had to believe it for this to be a life or death situation, Max answers, motioning for his quiverback. The downside, Daz says, is that this only works once. You're going to be stuck with slow skill growth until your next real fight. Which probably won't take long, Evelyn says, considering how the previous trips went. And that concludes chapter 26 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the story, it is up on Royal Road for free. And if you want to read ahead of that, support me in the process. That is on my Patreon. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the note. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.